Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Well, today I wanted to take just a little bit of time and mention a video that I just watched this morning of Kenton over at Rewild University. He made a video on ash tinder. He said the first time that he heard about it, one of his students told him about it, and he wanted to investigate a little bit more about it, so he looked online. I guess he searched ashes and cloth, and he came up on one of my videos. Now, he said he didn't watch the whole video, so I guess he just watched enough of the video to see that ashes in cloth, or really any tinder, will catch a spark, and then you can intensify that spark, or you could just leave it and let it smolder for a long period of time. He also mentioned the fact that the first time he saw that ashes had any kind of a reaction with fabric was through Boggy Creek Beast channel. Now, that was legitimate to bring up Tim, because he's the one that I learned the fire roll technique from. As a matter of fact, early on, he, by comments online and stuff, he coached me and gave me advice on how I can achieve my first fire roll. So it's legitimate to bring him up, because it was through the fire roll technique that I saw that any tinder, at the time I was using cotton, any tinder impregnated with ashes will become a coal extender. But I would take and try the fire roll technique with cotton and ashes, and sometimes when I didn't get ignition, I'd take my lighter out and I'd light, just light the least little bit of it up and set it down, and I noticed that it burned to ash. And that was the first time that I discovered ashed tinder. And like I say, if you go to that playlist, you can see 7 or 8 videos that I've made about it over the years. It's an amazing discovery. Now, Kenton wants to call it ash cloth, which associates it with char cloth. And yes, it catches a spark easy like char cloth does, and it can be intensified to use it to bring tinder to flames. But I disagree with calling it ash cloth for 2 reasons. We associate char cloth with flint and steel. There's no way you can ignite ashed cloth with flint and steel. The spark's just not hot enough. So that by itself would keep you from calling it ashed cloth. I also don't like the name ash cloth, because ashes impregnating any tinder causes that tinder to become a coal extender. So for those 2 reasons, I don't think we should call it ash cloth. We should call the technique ashed tinder. But you know what? I'm happy when I put these techniques out and people use them. I would prefer that people shout me out like Kenton did, which was an honorable thing to do. But most people are taking these techniques, a few of them that I've invented over the years, and they don't mention me. So I'm glad that Kenton mentioned me. Today's video, I wanted to show you, I want to do a better video than what we did yesterday. Yesterday I ashed some of these pine needles and took a small part of them with the ashes in it and used this polished soda can bottom and got ignition. And then I noticed that my tinder bundle was too big. I was blocking out too much sun. So then I made a smaller one and tried it, and even that was too big. I was blocking out too much of the sun's rays. So then I took and I made it into a long tube like that, and then I was finally able to get ignition after 5 tries. Today, I don't even want to block that much sun. Today I'm simply going to carve out a thin spear and put a ball of ashed pine needles on the end of that spear, and then stick that spear up into the focal point. One of my subscribers gave me a heads up yesterday and told me, hey, you're blocking out too much sun. And he was right. I just wasn't thinking. So that's the experiment today. Let's see if that works. All right, I got you sitting way back there so you can be in the shade. Yesterday the camera cut off on me. Let's use this for a spear. If the tip of it isn't strong enough, we'll go down here where it's thicker. Let's try that. I think it's going to make a difference because even on that tightest tinder bundle that I used yesterday, I think I was still probably blocking out 20% of the sun. So try to get an ember right there and then quickly transfer it into some pine needles. And then after we try this one without ashes, we'll try one with ashes, which, you know, this may work, but I can tell you that the ash tinder is going to work a whole lot easier and quicker. All right, let's see if this is going to work. I think I need to be a little steeper on the can like that. Smaller. Let's try it. The sky is a little hazy. Let's just give it a chance to warm up and maybe it'll take off. All right, it's the next day and we got a little bit brighter sun, and I do want to give you this heads up. Don't think you're going to be able to get the bottom of the can shiny enough using a chocolate bar, toothpaste, or anything else. This has been highly polished. Now it only took a few minutes by some aluminum polish that I got from the auto parts store. It's called Blue Star. And I've got other videos that shows you me actually buying it from the auto parts store. That's some good stuff. Now, this is the Unashed. Look at that shadow right there. First thing you want to do is direct this can exactly, perfectly with the sun. And you can do it by watching that shadow. That's it right there. Right there. It is aimed perfectly at the sun. Now let's see if we can get the non-ash pine needles to go. Always wear your shades when doing solar experiments. I'm getting some smoke. It helps for it to get black like that. It's starting to get a little smoke again. Now in my mind, just that little bit of smoke right there, if I had the ashes mixed in, would have been all I needed for it to take off. What it's doing is it's burning one or two pieces of those pine needles, and then the pine needles burns back and it's too far away from the focal point at that point. So you sort of need a tight ball. So you can't even see the black on it. Let's go ahead and put ashes in this and see if that makes the difference. What do you think? Let's try it again. Good night, that table is hot. So I guess that shows you pretty conclusively that ashes makes all the difference in the world, because it catches that first spark and then it just increases from there. Let's see, here's the bird's nest we made up yesterday, with the coarse on the outside and the fine on the inside. Let's use it. All right, y'all. So it did help for me to get my fingers out of the way, and to use this little spear so that only the tinder could be up inside the up next to the focal point, not blocking out any of the other sun that needed to get to this collector. All right, y'all. I appreciate you joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Won't be long. Upstate South Carolina pecans will be ready. Me and the squirrels are anxious for them. Thanks for joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.